Okay, I want to introduce Savannah that's waving at you, and Abby
Hello.
on the other side of her, and to thank them for doing the video for us this morning. But meanwhile, they weren't expecting me to ask them, but I would like them to tell you some things that can help you as new students. Okay, either one of you can answer the question, but can you tell us or tell the students what was one of the most challenging things that you faced in that first semester, particularly those first few weeks of school?
I'll start.
Okay, so the first thing that came to my mind is you kind of have to adapt to a new style of learning, and especially like test questions and things like that. I kind of had to relearn how to study and how to answer questions, because it's so much different from any other class or test that you will have ever taken in the past. Select all that applied questions. It's just different. You really have to know what you're studying, truly know what it is, the material, and all about that, because the question really all the questions have you really tap into that knowledge and just be able to answer. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes.
yeah,
it's like
would
totally
you agree?
different. Yes.
Yeah, it's just a completely different way to like answer questions, and but it'll come.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't
It
get
gets
freaked
better.
out that it's going to be challenging the first few times, and you'll just, as you go on in nursing school, week after week, it'll get a little bit better and a little bit better. And so just don't be discouraged. It's going to be different, but at the same time, it's necessary to study and learn like this, because there is so much with nursing that you have to be critically thinking about. And so you'll hear that a lot, but it's really true.
It is. Yeah, probably for me, the hardest part was when we started clinicals, and I thought that I was going to be all good at it and stuff, and then I got in the clinical setting and was just so overwhelmed, and like I don't even know like what I'm supposed to do, and I felt really uncomfortable, like even just like with my skills, and then also interacting like with patients and stuff, and I just didn't know, like I have questioned myself a lot of times to think like, am I even supposed to do this and stuff. So I would just encourage you that if you have those feelings and you feel uncomfortable in the clinical setting, or even if you like question yourself, that's normal, and it does get better like over the year. I mean, it was a little bit bumpy at times.
And ask questions.
Yeah.
Never be afraid to ask questions. It's not a stupid question.
No.
That's how you learn, and
Yes.
everybody's new, so.
But yeah, just in clinical, like if you feel scared or uncomfortable, just don't fight those feelings, but then also don't be afraid to just jump in there and learn as much as you can. But just know that those feelings are natural too, and you'll get over them as time goes on.
How did you two, or anyone you know who had, if they had any special challenges with time management, handle that? I know typically, there's a lot that goes on in the fall with homecoming, and there's pledging, and all the social life. I think students can still have a social life, but can you tell us anything about time management that helped you, or maybe even a classmate that you know, a roommate perhaps, that really struggled with that?
Yeah. Well, so I was an RA last year in the dorms, and so that was a interesting individual challenge for me to like balance that with nursing school, and I thought that it was going to be easier than it actually was, but it turned out to be pretty hard at times. Sometimes it wasn't, but then there's other times where I remember one night I had to get up for clinical at like 5 in the morning, and one of my residents woke me up at like 2 in the morning that like something was wrong, and so I had to be up with them for like 2 hours, and I was exhausted the next day. But probably I would just encourage you to honestly set those boundaries though, because there were times that I just had to say no to like RA things, and even if my bosses were a little bit upset with me, like I was just like, whatever, I don't care. Like nursing, you have to put nursing school first, and there's definitely, if you do that, there definitely is time for fun things too if you set your priorities. And I like worshipped my planner, like I just had everything in that, and just wrote everything down like in advance, and even wrote like a week or two before a test, like start studying for this because it's coming up, even if you don't see it like in your planner. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, and another thing I would add is what really helped me was utilizing the friendships that you make in nursing school, because I, got a lot of wisdom and insight from asking Savannah and Ross and Adam and Laura Bynum, and like seeing how they studied and how they prepared, and kind of like figuring out what works best for me, but getting ideas from other people and seeing how they're balancing their time and how they're preparing for this test in a week and what days they're spending studying for this while also studying for sim. And it's a lot, but use each other, and everybody's going through the same thing, and that really did help me. And then also just when you're studying, I found a lot of help this past year, like studying with people and making sure that you yourself know the information, but then coming together as a group and then kind of like re-going over the material and like, okay, well, what do you understand about this, and what do we need to know about this, and just kind of talking through everything really helped like solidify the information.
But make sure that you study it first and like have it down in your head first before you go like with other people.
Because you don't want to be lost.
Yeah.
That is an excellent point, because I have heard from students that they did study in groups and they didn't understand why they didn't do well.
Yeah.
And when we got down to the nitty-gritty, it was, well, no, I first time I looked at it was when I got to the group.
Sure.
So that I'm glad you brought that up. That's an excellent point.
But you can have life. Don't
Yeah.
think that nursing school is a lot, and it's going to be worth it for sure, but don't think that this is like the end of your social life, because you can balance both. You just have to be prepared for that. So.
And the experiences and friends you get from it are like so much fun.
Seriously.
There's so
So
many
fun.
funny inside jokes and stories and stuff that we have.
But none
that
of them
make-
are about your instructors, right?
No.
Never.
No,
No jokes
never.
about instructors.
Never.
Thank you, girls, so much
You're
for everything.
welcome.
And I'm sure the students, you're stars now.
We're here for y'all. Come
Yes.
ask us questions.
Yes, for real.
Bye.
We love it.